Evening, my ducks. It's a happy new year. It's 2023. I ain't done a video on here for about a good nearly a month or so. One new thing, I've managed to fit a set of discs on the back of my L200 B40. So we'll have a look in a minute. Here we have it. So it's quite straightforward, really. I didn't really have the option of fitting a Shogun Sport hubs on. K74 front brake caliper. Now, also, this is a front of so this disc is 320mm at the minute, because this is a worn one, not the best condition obviously, because it's just a mock-up, but it will work, and I have got new pads fitted. It's got a bit of a lip on, but this is measuring about 318, 317mm. So yes, you think, oh, well, standard, these, I mean, the front discs on this are 294s. You won't see them, so it's a bit of a pointless exercise, but yeah, they're in there, and you can see there's a bit of a gap in there. Once I get these, I'm ready to put these wheels back on now, and you'll see the fitment, but I've got pictures anyway. But here we have it. So what I've done, rather than just usually say a Pajero rear disc, which is solid, I wanted a vented disc, so we've got one now, and I've got about 10mm gap between the back of the caliper and the wheel rim. Bearing in mind I've got 30mm spacers here, so it's quite a simple thing. What you have behind is a bracket, which is just 4 bolt. There's 4 mounting points on this, which hold this in. But what I've done, I've actually, this bracket's off a Pajero from, I think it's a V46 Pajero, which do have discs and calipers on the back, but they're solid. So what I've done, I've sort of sandwiched it behind the bolts and lengthened the bolts, and I've had to basically cut into it a bit to fit around the axle. There, so you can see that resembles Pajero, and it's all solidly mounted. The reason I did it this way is, well, for one, I didn't have a bearing, because if you basically split that bearing, to get the bearing out, you've obviously need a new bearing set. I'm going to have to do that, just a bit of cutting. Now, another thing to point to note, because it's a K74 disc, it's a K74 caliper, sorry. You can see I was too far out on the original mounting holes, so basically I've come in on the mounting hole, and that's the original one here. So there's plenty of meat either side of it, and it, as you can see, bolts right up. Yeah, all painted up, just a couple of coats of metal paint, and this is just not caliper paint, it's just black red metal paint, a couple of coats. Now you're thinking, what I want to do eventually is obviously change these lines for copper, but what I've done is just rebent them. This is a view of the left side, so this is left rear, the arches off. This cable here is the fuel cap cable, but I don't need a fuel cap because my fuel tank, as if you guys have been following, is in here, and it's plumbed in roughly for now. That's my return, and this is my pickup. But it will be all in AN8 fittings, and I've got to get a sender now, and well, a fuel sender pickup to mount in here, fuel filler here in the back window, and it'll sit obviously here, so when I fill my car up, filling straight through the window. Obviously that window is going to be changed for perspex window, just this one. Got the spoiler on, don't know if you guys saw that before, possibly. As I say, there's inside the doors all stripped out, no speakers, very light. Say this it's work in progress. I've got my ECU, which I'm stage 3 in at the minute. It's down there. That I've read, and it is. I've got a Piacini read on that at the minute, and I'll be flashing off my stage 3 in the next few days. Hopefully I can get this fucking running. And there's my cockpit. And you can see, got my boost gauge over there. That's a glow shift one. It goes to 60 psi. I don't run that, but I run about 36 on my turbo. You know, in the near future, I've got my big turbo, my big Borg Warner XXE 200 to go in 7670. It's a big old turbo, and I'll be boosting about 46 psi. So, yep. It's a snap-off steering wheel, radiard. I don't know if it's original. I don't think it is, but it does snap off. Nice. And there's the mounting, the bosses, and there's the original plastics around it. It fits on quite nicely. Click, click, click. There's my buckets, the Evolutions, Cobra Evolutions, and they fit in with my Schroff harnesses. The last part of the videos, I didn't show you the mounting points, but there you go. I've got a plate in here that's all welded in, and proper mounting eyelets. That's obviously the side ones. This seat's going to be, it's actually out of bloody K74, and I had to make a bloody arse about making a subframe for it, because it's a bit wider, as you can see, and I just mounted it on and made a mishmash of both, and yeah, I can, it does slide on the rails still. A bit crooked at the minute, but I'll work out a bit more spacing. Then the Schroff harnesses just straight on, but that's just there for now. But yeah, you can see I've got my DTI there. I've been using that recently because I've measured up all my cams. I'm going for some big old cams to match my new turbo. It doesn't need them at the minute, but now I've got them, I can get them in for a regrind, sent back to the UK. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting project. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you're interested in this build. It's a bit different to usual L200, as you can see there. I've got this heavy clump of metal of the old drums, and you can see I must have saved some weight here. All the old shoes. There we go. Not got much in the back. Got my fucking wing. You can see there's my subframe. The car's not started that bloody long. It's starting to rust through again, but you can see my coil over in there. And one in there, look. And then the frame is in there. The reason for this frame, you might think, oh, why didn't you just put it onto the body or the side of the body? The reason for this frame, you see that distance there? That's how much I've lowered it, basically, to get that arch gap down, so you can see what I had to do to get this to buddy work. And obviously it's tied into the original cross members, but yeah, that was a while ago I made that. It's all set with the fronts, and I will drop it down in a second and you can see. This is what she looks like with the wheels back on the deck as promised. And you see you've got, just for reference, you've got probably 4 fingers, well, probably 4 fingers there. You've got a, say, 5 fingers on the back arch. That there, guys and girls, is the L200 with a 1% rake. Standard. You've got a higher back gap, giving it a 9% rake to front to back, but that is basically level, and that's the look I've gone for. You guys and girls follow L200. That's what, now I've got the arch off, you can actually see what a 30mm spacer will do to your wheel. It will put it out that much, you can see there. But when obviously go to this side and the arch is in, you've got a bit of stick out, and there. So that's what 30mm spacers gives you. You say got satin look on this. Got a bit of sparkle today. Custom paint job. It's glistening away. A bit of metal flake, ruby red. Yeah, there we have it. Right, the front's all built back up now. I had my radiator off for a while. Obviously I had to make a sort of a hub for the timing disc, so I've had all this off, but it's all back together now, and all looking good. I mean, probably it's the first video of this front end all back together. You see I've got my front mount. It's a 600 by 300, 76mm. It's not a standard fit. Basically you have to take a couple of inches out of the front cross member, and this is my take. on my front bumper that I've cut out. This bit of a split down here that I've got to rectify because I basically forced it on. I've got to seal it all up. The turbo there, cold air intake, and that's it. Game of the wife's L200, if you've been following the channel. We're waiting on a fuel pipe clip. You see there, I've tried to bodge it with a bit of fiberglass and it doesn't work. So I'm going to have to find, well, I've got one coming. I've got a new pickup to put in there here, because these parts on a Navara are 90 quid and it's a unit. And even if I try to put another pipe in, it'll just break off, and you're basically taking in or taking down the diameter in there, so you can have a bit of a restriction if you put something inside it. So yeah, that's how she is, and that's the room of the car, and that's my chassis. Literally everything from the centre point of the original chassis is my own, so I built that all myself, and put an X frame here where there's a press panel piece there usually. I've got KSI branded new leaves, because I cut through the originals to get all the crap away, and I got new heavy duty shocks. And the other thing to put across here now, once I've got my fuel tank repaired, is to put a beam which is sat there, because it's had the weather on it, and that's going to go across here. There's my custom system. It's just all it is made, apart from the end piece, it's just mild steel bend tube, but the end piece is it's actually the standard exhaust tip, which I think is actually either aluminiumized steel or stainless, and it just sits out the side, and you get a better idea of how it looks on a Navara. That's how she looks. She sounds quite nice. Got the steps off at the minute because I had to rebuild the whole sills halfway down the car. You see I've painted them up now, and that's that side. Here we had where the chassis had broke, it actually dug into here as well. So that's how far it had gone. The back tray was literally dug into this portion of the back of the car there. So yeah, it's just freshened up. Not quite, it's just gloss white. It's not storm white or whatever it is. We've repaired a bit of rust bubbling there. That's the front end. Just all I've done there is pop some nice LED fog lights in there and there, and obviously that's just a bit of tape you can see there, but that it's all going to be polished and cleaned up. There's a rust bubble here, it's all gone. Yeah, that's basically it, guys and girls. This had some touching up to do. It was just dreadful. You know, like here, I blended that in. Same with this side. It's had lots of filling, lots of better. Just a used truck. Same down here. Just painted them all up. And on the back of this, it has one of these covers So we'll all see it when it's all back together. There's the bull bar, a big massive LED light on it. That's bright, very bright looking truck. There's the rest of it. Let's say again, this was all done out. Not too much on the tailgate. And we've got a bit of the lights to go on. Lights and the looms. They're the lift. These are the mounts I've got. They're 2-inch, but it's actually got a 3-inch lift. And there we have it. There's a little peek of the Nismo rims. These are quite a nice feature on this Nissan. And a nice black 20-inch rims. And let's see, I've tidied up the drum behind it, painted a nice red. And guys, girls, we've got a problem on this side of the Nissan. I don't know if you guys come across it before, but someone's actually rattled gunned these wheel nuts so hard that even an extractor can't get these wheel nuts off, and they've all rounded off now because I've used the extractor. And what I've got to do is literally weld a pipe on here or something, and each one I've got to sort of crack off. Not a job for the faint-hearted, as I don't want to trash this rim in any way. And yeah, here's my temporary fuel tank. She's a runner. This is a 5 litre can on the side. Yeah, if you like these builds, don't forget, give us a nice like, subscribe, and give us a comment, send us a message. Obviously there must be some interest in L200s and well, you know, B40s, and you know, a bit of a different build, what the UK is not used to. You know, it's lowered, and if I get this stage 3 map on this car, as you see my 3-inch, I've even got 3-inch side exit here, and it's all in stainless. And, you know, built it all myself. You know, I mean, the map I'm working on at the minute, you know, even bass, low boost for the turbo, I'm going to be anything between 230 horsepower and 300, and that's low boost. But I usually run the turbo I'm running is OM 904 Mercedes one, and it's for a 4.2 litre, which it doesn't take a lot of boost, but you can work them. You know, I run 36 psi and it seems to be happy, but I haven't mapped in that 36 psi with the intercooler now and the 50% over injectors. So I'm hoping, well, theoretically, if I run on high boost at 36 psi, I could have 350 horsepower at 4,250 revs. Now that is a big increase to the normal remapped stage 2 L200 at 220 horsepower. So yeah, she's going to come alive, and I just can't wait to get the map on. So cheers guys and girls, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you on the next one.